Welcome to your morning doodle. It's a real pleasure to be here. And it's a meditation, man. And it's been a nice, lovely meditative morning. As you know, we're using our Neuland markers and we're using this awesome the thing that I told you that we got yesterday. Super excited about it. This notebook, it's watercolor paper. We're going to do a Western Tanager this morning, and we're starting with our 4 most important lines. I took a really overly light touch there, and so we're going back over it. Let's talk about meditation, and let's talk about a drawing meditation. Most of my life, I spent my time imagining, and I've told you guys this before, that if I was good at something, I would be fast at it. So I spent quite a lot of time being fast and not a lot of time being good, and then imagining or, getting good at something and then imagining there was something wrong with me when the problem was in my methodology. It was fast. So, okay, we've got our 4 most important lines. We're doing the Western Tanager. And what are you going to start out with? Obviously, you're going to start out with the stick because our little bird is sitting on a stick. So we're going to give him her. So those are the little claws. So we're making them nice and rounded, attaching together. And then we're going to make these guys a little nice and rounded too, because he's got his 2 little feetsies. And we're going to go ahead and make our stick now. So just a straight line across. Don't worry about any of the details. Also remember that it's a stick. So we're going to go, and you can also hear MJ, the baby in residence at my house. Ooh, and look, I'm making errors. How incredibly fascinating. All right, we'll see how this goes. So I'm just going to kind of swoop up here and make a nice round body, but I'm not going to go too far in. Make sure that it's like a little bit like straight above where your the talons are. And then we're just going to go match that little guy around. And then we're going to give him a nice little upside down cup head, but kind of small, a little squatty, because the truth is that the way birds go, they have long necks, but not from this angle. So we're just respecting the angle here. So let's give him a little bit more definition. We're going to do that roundy thing right here. And I'm going to start right there and just go round, a nice little tail. I'm going to come in here and go round, and I'm not going to match him. I'm going to do a little upside down swoop there. There you go. So now we've got a nice tail. We've got his talons. We can kind of see his little leggies are going to be in here. We'll clean up those lines because that's what we do when we're doing simple drawings. Wow, it is like it's kind of antithema here as far as relaxation is concerned. There's a lot of energy. However, that being said, when I stay with my doodle and I be present with where my eyes go, where I want them, where they are on the face, really remember the 4 lines. Our 4 lines give us context, and that really matters. We don't really understand the world unless we have context, and so now we know we've got a bird, and we keep the lines really simple. We clean them where we can. I know I've got a little, I've done a little like insinuation here. Usually I keep things a little bit cleaner, but I'll tell you what. So this just happened, right? I've got my twig, and then I accidentally did this little line, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to bring it up here as if I meant to do it. It can be a twig. I can even put a little leaf guy on it. Not because it needed it, but because this is a meditation, right? I can make it into whatever I want it to be. And I didn't like that I just left that there. So I'm going to go ahead and draw in his wings. Apparently he's a he because he keeps getting called a he here. And there we have our bird. So we're keeping it simple today, team. I'm going to write Tanager above this because I'm not even going to name him. Honestly, birds I love looking at birds, but they kind of freak me out a little bit. They're like, oh, apparently I'm giving them all caps too. Also, okay. You know what I'm noticing? And I invite you to notice whatever is true for you. I'm noticing that I'm a little bit distracted this morning. I'm not as present as I have been in recent past. And that, my friends, is exactly, wow, this Tanager's all over the place. And I'm going to embrace that. Tannen. See, I've spelled him wrong. Tanager. Well, apparently his name is Tannen. Ha! There we go. Pinch hit. No, team. I planned that. And here and here. And there's Tannen. And the truth is, we're not even, it's just named, he's just named Tanager. We're not even going to do him the colors that we said we'd do because we can do whatever we want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this guy a red body. Tannen has a red body. I'm going to skip the beak because I don't think the beak's red. And I'm inviting you into the color part of our, oh, you know what? I really love this watercolor paper for our markers because these are water-based markers. I did a little more research on them because I wasn't paying attention. And these water markers go really nicely on this watercolor paper. That said, please know that if you're using Crayola markers on normal typing paper, that, my friend, is every bit as meditative as this. Now, if that experience for you is like, meh, it's almost fun, I almost am pleased about this, then you may want to get some different materials, maybe different than mine. Or maybe you're like, well, Michelle did the research technically. My teammate Zoe did the research. But the research has been done, and these are great markers. That being said, these are not the only great markers, and you get to do, you can go to, I'll tell you what, you know what is sometimes meditative? Going to your local art store. All right, so we have a little red bird, and we're going to give him some, honestly, I was going to give him some gray wings because that is more accurate for most birds, but you know what? We're living in our own world, and we can do it however we want. And I want Tannen to have his blue. It's very Americana. You guys feeling the Americana? Oh, that's kind of fun. So I went over my edges a little bit, and honestly, Tannen could have used bigger wings in the front, so I'm going to take it a little bit further. There you go. So there's Tannen. I'm going to definitely, because we all believe that twigs can be brown when they really want to. If Jack, my dog, or my son's dog, keeps panting here, I'll definitely pan down to him. He's just hanging with us. So I'll go between those little feet. Remember, just stay present with it. Here's the thing. Keeping those lines simple, keeping it clean has a lot to do with meditation. And what I mean by that is mentally staying with something. And I find I even have to stay with my words. If I start a word that starts with an R, I might have meant restrictive, and I say redactive. And okay, neither of those words do I use on a regular basis, but I could. And if I said redactive, I mean, that's not restrictive, and so, but if I stay with my words, if I don't just stop in the middle and I go, hey, this feels restrictive to me. All right, I like it. Then this feels restrictive to me. I can say the whole word, the whole sentence. And that's what I'm talking about here. And that's what I'm bringing myself back to. Stay present with what's happening. I'm going to give Tannen, our bird that named himself by, being him. I gave him a little yellow beak. I love the details. Oh, and there's one last detail. And I think I'm going to take my yellow. Actually, I'm going to take my yellow Sharpie because it's a much, what's the word? There's a less, what is the word? It's a harder tip. That's what I'm trying to say. Wow. Stay with me, Michelle. All right. So I gave him his little guy there. And then one of my very favorite parts is I think every artist, aspiring or otherwise, every artist should be willing or gets to take the opportunity of signing it. But I just remembered, and this is one of the things that I said, Michelle, please remember this today because I really care about this, the drop shadow. So I saw somebody, I think Steph was on here. She commented on something about the shadow, which reminded me. So thanks, Steph. So I've got my drop shadow here. Avi, it's going to go all the way under here. It's going to go on the side here and the side here. And under his little bumpy tail. There you have it. There is Tannen, our bird. And now I'm going to put my mark on it. And I hope you guys, I'm staying with my details here. I'm not rushing it. I just want that to be a little bit grayer. I want it to be clean. Oh, you know what you can do with this drop shadow? You can just go in and clean stuff up because it just takes away the white. There you go. The white's gone. All right, so I'm going to make my mark. We're all making our mark on the world. And my mark today looks like Michelle, born Pearson, married Young. That is actually very factual. And the year and our vision, our hope for vision is 2020. Carissa, I saw you on here. It's really nice to see you. I see Steph on here. And let's see, just want to make sure and say hey to everybody. You guys, thank you for joining me. This is Tannen, our little bird. I hope you chose your own colors. I hope you felt good about what you were doing. And I'm inviting you to stay with your drawing. Stay with whatever it is that you're doing until you finish it, until you complete it, until it's resolved in a way that feels really good. So here's Tannen. I feel super good about my resolution. I might continue to play with birds today because there are so many options. I mean, let's be honest. We could draw this tomorrow and have something completely different come out of it. We might do that. Actually, by the way, if you guys, Carissa and Steph, I see that the two of you are on here right now. And so you in specific, if you want to comment and say, you know what, I'd really like to see you doodle. I'd really like to meditate with you while you doodle a black beetle or something, just put it in the notes or in the comments because I'd love to draw with you. And that means not draw at you. Make it a great day. Make it a day of play. Stay with things. Be present and know that you and your experience are the most important thing. Experience it well.